subscribe to my channel.
My name is Sarah Weber, and I am an undercover agent with Interpol. 6 months ago, I infiltrated a remote facility nestled in the Alpine Mountains, the Saint Light Orphanage, posing as a kitchen assistant. At first glance, this place seemed perfectly normal. The director, Helena Schmidt, was a polished, middle-aged woman, always impeccably dressed in tailored suits and speaking with a calm, soothing tone. Every morning at exactly 7 a.m., the children would wake up, change into their identical gray uniforms, and head to breakfast, which consisted of oatmeal, whole grain bread, and a glass of milk. At 8 a.m., their classes began, following a structured schedule of language, math, science, music, and physical education. The medical team conducted routine weekly checkups, with medications neatly arranged in the pharmacy cabinet. The children appeared to be thriving. They tended a small garden to grow vegetables and flowers, frequented a well-stocked library, and lived in dormitories that were spotless, with sheets changed every week. Yet over time, subtle oddities began to surface. Why were children adopted every month, yet no adoptive parents ever visited? Why were the adoption documents finalized only after the children had left? Why did the basement's electricity consumption exceed that of the entire main building? And why were the pharmacy lights on every night until 3 a.m.? Today, a new child arrived, a boy named Eric. He immediately struck me as different. Unlike the others, he didn't cry or act timid. Instead, he quietly observed everything around him, his sharp eyes scanning his surroundings like a detective. Dr. Klaus's reaction to Eric was even more unsettling. Typically, medical checkups were routine, but with Eric, Klaus seemed unusually excited. He spent an inordinate amount of time examining the boy, his hands trembling slightly as he jotted notes and circled entries on Eric's chart. I used the pretext of delivering water to sneak a look. Klaus had used a red pen to highlight multiple areas, muttering as though appraising a valuable commodity. During the checkup, Klaus dismissed the nurses and scanned Eric with a device I had never seen before, murmuring phrases I couldn't quite make out. To my horror, he drew several vials of Eric's blood, locking one vial in his personal safe. Later that evening, while cleaning the kitchen, I overheard a conversation between Helena and Klaus in the office. Helena, holding a folder, sounded almost giddy. "This batch is outstanding, especially the new boy. His blood type is perfect, and his genetic profile is exceptional. The higher-ups will be thrilled." Klaus's response was quieter, but no less chilling. "We need to expedite the process. The lab's been demanding fresh materials, and they're growing impatient." Their cold, clinical tone sent shivers down my spine. As I turned to leave, I stopped dead in my tracks. At the end of the dimly lit hallway stood Eric, bathed in pale moonlight. His expression was unreadable, but the faint smile on his lips was unnerving. Had he overheard their conversation? Or worse, did he already know? The more I observed, the more suspicious activities I uncovered. Every Wednesday night, a plain, unmarked truck arrived at the orphanage. The driver never left the cab, and only Helena and Klaus interacted with him. After each visit, a child would invariably fall ill and be transferred to the basement medical ward. I began documenting these events. The truck's tires bore marks matching military-grade specifications. Though the vehicle had no visible insignia, I noticed a faint emblem on the rear: NL Labs. The truck always arrived precisely at 2:37 a.m., a timing so exact it felt almost mechanical. With suspicions mounting and the urgency to gather concrete evidence growing, I decided to install a hidden camera in the kitchen. This was the only way to confirm my fears and expose the truth. The footage showed Helena and Klaus unloading large metal crates marked with biohazard symbols. On one occasion, a crate was accidentally dropped, and the sound of clinking glass echoed ominously. The basement was even more disturbing. It consisted of 3 levels, each secured with increasingly sophisticated measures. The first level resembled a standard medical facility, but the variety of drugs in the pharmacy far exceeded the needs of an orphanage. The second level required iris scans to access. After considerable effort, I hacked into the system, only to find surgical suites and labs that appeared untouched, as if they were merely for show. The third level, however, remained a mystery. Its state-of-the-art security was impenetrable, even with my advanced tools. At night, a low, constant hum reverberated through the walls, occasionally punctuated by faint, anguished cries that seemed to claw their way up from the depths. The sound was unsettling, a chilling reminder of the sinister secrets lurking below. Anna was no ordinary child. At 8 years old, she brimmed with energy, her golden curls bouncing as she flipped effortlessly on the playground bars. Her athleticism was remarkable, and her advanced vocabulary made her seem far older than her years. From the moment Eric arrived, the two formed a peculiar bond. They were inseparable, often whispering in corners or exchanging items with an air of secrecy. One night, I caught Anna lingering outside the medical ward, clutching something in her hand. The next day, Klaus's office was in disarray, and he was furious. Yet Anna and Eric remained composed, almost as if nothing had happened. Then, Anna disappeared. Helena claimed she'd been adopted by an American couple, but I saw Klaus emerging from the basement that night, his white coat stained with dark red smears. Later that evening, I swore I heard Anna's cries echoing faintly from the basement, mingling with the mechanical hum. The next morning, when I checked the adoption records, Anna's file was missing. It was as though she had never existed. Anna's disappearance heightened my sense of urgency. I discovered ventilation ducts leading to the elusive third level and installed miniature audio recorders inside. The fragments I intercepted were chilling. Phrases like organ viability, genetic compatibility, and sample degradation. Eric's behavior grew more mysterious. He often wandered the halls late at night and was frequently seen speaking to a janitor who kept his face obscured by a cap. One night I tried to follow them, but they vanished into the labyrinthine corridors. Intercepted communications gradually revealed a horrifying truth. The orphanage was a front for illegal experiments and organ harvesting. Children deemed suitable were subjected to gruesome procedures. Their organs and tissue sold on the black market or used in genetic experiments. Eric seemed to know more than he let on. One day, I found him drawing a picture of a girl entwined in wires and tubes. When I asked him about it, he said, "Anna showed me this in a dream." When I heard screams from the basement, I knew it was time to act. The deafening blast of explosives shattered the heavily secured door, sending a shockwave through the air. Heart pounding, I stepped into the dimly lit space below, where the horrors awaiting me defied imagination. Children lay sedated on operating tables, while Anna was strapped to a gurney, moments from being wheeled into surgery. Klaus barked orders as Helena observed with a chilling smile. "We've been expecting you," she said. Eric emerged from the shadows, clutching a USB drive. "We recorded everything," he shouted. The janitor had been their secret ally, installing hidden cameras and mapping escape routes. Chaos erupted as police sirens blared outside. In the confusion, I shielded Anna as explosions rocked the lab. We escaped through a hidden tunnel, emerging just as the authorities stormed the facility. Though the raid succeeded, the scars remain. Many children will never fully recover, and the organization's network persists. Helena and Klaus died under mysterious circumstances in custody, their bodies aged unnaturally. Eric, now adopted by a special agency, displays exceptional talent in computer science. He vows to dismantle the network piece by piece. Meanwhile, I am haunted by the horrors I witnessed. Evil, I've learned, never truly disappears. It simply hides, waiting for its next opportunity.